Well, hey guys, welcome to my channel, welcome to another stream and chapter 9, working on that guy right there. That's our M2A3 Bradley with the Busk 3 armor. We're going to run the intro, we'll get into it. Coffee's finished, we're getting ready to get started on this. We're going to continue the build. So last time, as you saw, we got a whole bunch of stuff done in the interior, and after the cameras were all turned off, I decided to put in the decals that are all in the interior. I'll switch the camera, you can have a look and see how this has turned out now. Okay, so we have our interior of our tank here. I decided to do a little bit of utilizing some weathering and making it look a little bit more used. So our seats have a little bit of, you know, just some shadowing on there. The floor there where the guys would have stepped in and walked in there a few times, worn away that green paint on down to the bare metal, and we got a little bit of dirt on the floor. A little bit of like silver chipping here on their little panel here, put a little bracket there, and so we go through towards the front here. We've got some decals on the walls and the doors, and yeah, just a little bit of some, you know, we've got a little bit of chipping down there and a little bit of staining, little panel lining going around that door. That's just a little bit of stuff, a little bit of dirt on the floor where the guy would have put his feet driving this thing. Little bits of like that, just a little bit. Not too much, just a little bit. A little bit of dirt kind of accumulating a little bit on the edges. Just not that it's really messy, just a little bit of a lived-in look, just a tiny bit. Because we still have stuff to go in and still gonna weather some things and make her look like she's, you know, actually gone somewhere and not just straight out of the factory. So that's what we've got, and yeah, there's our engine and transmission, and that's what we got going on here. So that is that, which leads to today. What are we doing today? Well, today we're going to be starting on the upper hull interior, inside the upper hull, which means this guy's going to get put aside, out of the way, nice and safe, way back there, and we're going to work on our upper hull and see what we've got to do with this. Alrighty, so let me grab my glasses. And we'll start looking at this. Let's take a look here. Alright, so obviously we're going to be starting with our main upper hull, and she's going to be upside down because we're doing the inside of it. Alright, so we got to grab, looks like some S and P and MPS, which I believe are going to be all of our green ones. There's the S. I don't need N, at least not today. Maybe I do, I don't know. And we got M and P right here. Alright, so what do we need here? Let's start with S. We got to have S9. It's going to be this guy here. It's a little ironic, you know, what I should do before I start doing this, actually, I'm going to paint the inside of this so that we've got the same shade of green, because pieces like this, we've got to go in like that. She's got to line up in here and go like this, and then I'm going to have to paint it again. So why should I paint it again when I don't have to, when all I've got to do is paint the inside of this? So I'm going to quickly grab some of my just use my Mr. Surfacer 1500 in the can and primer the inside of this thing. We move a couple of things out of the way and move this guy out of the way of overspray. Okay, so that is all. This is now gray, no longer tan, and that makes it perfect for adding the green color that we need. We'll give that a minute to cure. Let me get this out of the way here. I'll fire up my air compressor because we're going to need some green. We're going to need this green that I have mixed up, but I haven't got a lot left. You know, I used most of it for the top. I actually barely got anything left in here, which means I should try and remix some more. But I'm hoping I don't have to, because, you know, like somebody pointed out, I believe it was Jeff, pointed out a couple of episodes ago that what do I do if I run out of paint? And I just might do that. I just might run out. So I'm going to have to think about redoing this. So what I'm going to do, shake this up again. Now the two colors I used, of course, I started off with my X15 and then I used X7 and I mixed them together. So that you guys get to watch me mix and see how am I going to match this up, because that's going to be the challenge, isn't it? Mixing this up and getting the exact same shade of green that I used on the rest of this thing. So we're going to take this, we're going to mix these a little bit here. Okay. So, I'm not going to need that right now. I'm going to need this. I'm going to need my paper towel. I'm going to need this. Okay, and of course this guy. That should be enough to get somewhere here. Now that green is just obnoxiously bright. Okay, so what I did before is I didn't put a lot of red in it, just a little bit. So I'll just start by dipping some into that, because the red, believe it or not, a little red goes a long way. You want to see the process on this? Let's change the camera here. A little red actually goes a long way in changing the color. We're not there yet. We're looking for this. Okay? So, I don't want to taint my red by dipping green in it. I'm going to do two more little things. That's looking closer. It's a lot closer. But I need to compare it to the actual wet version of this, not the dry. Which is why I've got my other paint here, this guy here, so I can compare How's that look? See, we're still darker, so I still got I got a ways to go. Let's do 3 more. Still not there. We're closer. Definitely closer. But still not there. Okay. Let's go 1, 2, 3. Mix this up. That's looking pretty close. I actually think I went a little darker this time. But we can always cure that. I'm done with the red, so I went a little too far with it. We're really close, but we're not quite. So I went just a hair too far. Yeah, woohoo. So let's go back with a little, we'll go 1, 2 a little bit, and just make this, bring it back. Another thing that will make it easier is to thin it out a little bit. Drop off, come on. There we go. 1 more. 2 more drops. I think we're good here. I got it really close. It's really close. If I take a drop here, do that, and then take a dip into that, you can see we're a little bit darker. That's the easiest way to see. So I went way too dark with it. So we're going to go 2 drops back. I'm going to bring back our green. Bring back our brightness. Just a shade. Oh, need more. This is the kind of stuff you guys don't see on camera. Looking pretty close. But we're still pretty. We're still pretty. This is a good example of going too far with your dark color and darkening it too much. Because now the lighter color struggles to bring it back. I'm kind of getting to like an almost olive drab color here. Okay, we're gonna go a little extreme here and just put a bunch back in here. So I'm not getting quick enough results. I want quicker results. Okay, we're just about there. Just about there. I think that last pour probably did it. Okay. Am I trying to spill my paint on me? I think I am. Okay. Do a little dip. Go here. Okay. Clean that off. Do a dip. Go here. We're much closer. But I think it's at a point where, well, we're close. I'm going to pour it in here. Pour that in there. That's good enough. Okay. I'm going to add a little bit more. Mix this up. I'm close enough that I'm confident that we're going to have a color that's almost the same now. Maybe a shade darker, but still very close. It's still darker. Why won't you lighten up? Come on, lighten up, will you? It looks like it makes such a huge difference when you pour it in and start mixing, but then I go to compare it on the towel and it's not making any it's not changing color. We've got it. We got it. Finally got it. Got it to a point where it's not really going to be noticeable. And even if it is, I can always just spray a little bit onto the original other parts and kind of as a shadow kind of effect. Okay, so now that's a little too thick, so we got to add a little thinner to it. And speaking of thinner, I really should clean that out. So let's add a little bit, thin that out for spraying. Okay, there we go. Mix it up real good. All right, good to go. I got lots of paint in there now. Now I gotta clean this guy out, because this guy was just, and I don't want to use my clean thinner, I want my dirty thinner. Where's my dirty thinner? Okay, so with our paint mixed up, we can put some in the airbrush. Okay. Now I apologize, guys. I was not planning on doing this any airbrushing today, so I didn't bother setting up my other camera. So I apologize for that. I'll reduce this window so at least you can sort of see what I'm doing a little bit in the background. So now they got this all ready to go. We'll put some of this in our airbrush. Looks like maybe a little bit thick still. I might have to add some more thinner to get it to spray nice. We'll see. We will see. Our other one, I think pearl, it's not it. When I Google it, it spells out chameleon or iridescent. Oh. Then I'm not sure. I know that pearl paint does change color depending on, you walk past a car and it looks kind of a bluish color, and as you walk past it turns into a purple or a brownish kind of thing. I've seen many cars here that have that pearl paint like that. So yeah, I assumed it's pearl. Okay, so now when I look at these two with my own eyes, they look a little bit different. Let's change the camera here. One does look a little darker. This, even though on my little paper towel, this looked darker, it actually is a little bit brighter looking. And it could be because the gray is coming through and it's not quite covering. But I think putting this on top here like this, if you look inside, I don't think you really notice any difference in the shade of green. Let me check this out. I'm going to open that in a new tab so that I can see it. Yeah, see that paint, I thought that was pearl. I thought that was adding pearl to it. Well, I guess, yeah, pearlescent. Yeah, pearl paint, pearlescent. Yeah, pretty much same thing. You know what I mean. It's the same shit. I mean, stuff. Okay, so I think that's good enough. I think we're good. So I'm going to clean up my airbrush. I'll pour the rest of my paint in here. So I've got lots here for touch-ups and stuff like that if I need to now. We're good to go. I got plenty of extra. I don't have to worry about it. Where I had just a smidgen left of my original mix, which definitely would not have been enough to do this. I would have, well, wound up having to get some more anyway. So, you guys watching live, you get to watch me the whole process clean up my airbrush. You guys watching on YouTube, well, I'm going to skip ahead so that I'll cut this part out so you don't have to watch me do this. So with their airbrush clean, we can continue and actually start putting some stuff together here. So let's grab our instruction booklet again. Now the paint's had a few minutes to dry, she's all nice and good to go. Of course, I get green on my finger because of a little bit of overspray in there. There we go. So just got a little hint of overspray. It does that all the time. Okay, so we were starting off with putting S9 down on a P5. So we've got to turn this the right direction, and this guy's going to go in right there, just like this. once we get the pins lined up. There we go. She actually snaps in pretty good. And that shows I got my color matched pretty good. Because you guys saw that I didn't really do that. So with our pins out like that, I can glue it from this side and glue the pins. So we can glue it like this. Okay, do that. So that's in. And we got to get P6. P6 is supposed to be white, so we're going to do that later. I'm not going to bore you guys with doing another hour-long session of painting everything. We already did enough. So we're going to grab M17. So I need my M sprue. Where'd my M go? Where's my M? M17 looks like a triangle right here. This guy's definitely darker than the rest. He's dark. I painted that thick. I did a thick layer on that one. And P5. Oh, we got another another fire extinguisher. It's supposed to be red. So this guy goes into the corner right here. Okay. Let's just put glue into his little divot here. There we go. Okay. Yeah, you can tell I really did that one. I put it on there thick, and so it's darker. That's okay though. Very minor little detail. P21 looks like some kind of a cross brace or beam that's going across there. P21, where's my P? LMNOP, there it is. 21. Okay. Unfortunately, painting things on the sprue like that, you're going to wind up with these nubs. And especially with this colored plastic, our nubs turn white. But we don't have much of a choice, do we? And it doesn't look like there's any front or back on this one, so I'm just going to do it this way. And he goes in, where does he go? Right back here onto this little tab. Like that. Okay. So I'm going to hold him down and put some glue in along here. And do that. There we go. There we go. So he's in. And P6, I don't want to paint him white, but I have to. P6, there's a whole bunch of them. I painted them all green, but I guess they're supposed to be white. So what I'm going to do I have white primer, white spray? I do. I have it in a big honking can though. So what I can do is take these, this. I'm going to cheat a little bit here. Get them off the sprue completely. Now they're all on their own, and I can just spray paint that with some white. I've got some white primer in a can. I'll just do this, shake this up a little bit while I look at this stuff. What's going on around here. U5 looks like, I don't know, does that clear? I believe so, yes. It's our clearish, bluish things. So if I put these in here now, then I'm going to have to wind up masking them off later on when I go to paint the outside of the hull. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. So I'm going to highlight that with a highlighter, because that's how you highlight things. You highlight things with a highlighter. Highlight with a highlighter. have to do this. Have to do that. We're gonna have to do that another time. I'm gonna spray paint these guys white. Now, this primer does not dry in a couple of minutes. It takes a lot longer to dry. But it takes longer simply because it goes on so thick. But these are all white now. White. Yay, all white. Okay. And those are going to take probably a good 20 minutes to dry, which means I'm not putting them on today. So the P6 is not going to be put on today. So I need to highlight that as something I need to do later. So I can grab S16. Of course, I did everything all thrown around. S16, this guy here. They want all our little rivets on these guys. All those little rivets that are going across there. They want all of those to be painted brass. So what I did, the ones on the lower hull, you see down here in this section here, I just kind of touched them with a little bit of the Tamiya gold, and yeah, that works. Looks like brass good enough. Okay, so we're looking at this. This guy goes in on this edge, so his two little tabs go in and line them up here somehow. I guess he sits like this. I think he's supposed to line up with that, like that. Although I'm not happy with that sticking out. That should be like, I don't know, it seems like it should come back like this and line up, and yet it doesn't. It just kind of sticks out like that. See that there? Right in there? It's just does not look right. But that's where it goes. So I think if that's going to be a point where it doesn't look right later on, maybe I will pinch it down and glue it down and make it flush later. We will see. So we have these guys here, S2 and S11 and P29, PSS. S2 and 11. And these guys are supposed to be green, so that's good. Except for P29 is supposed to be XF81, which is an olive drab. So P29, which goes there. Let's see how these go together. So S2. Let's get this guy off of the sprue. S2 and S11. Okay, and then P29. There's 3 P29s, and they want them painted up. It looks like it's supposed to be a screen of some sort. They just want the middle painted. But we're supposed to take this and put this on it. this, I guess. And then, and then it goes in like this. Like so. Okay, so we'll clean up our nubs. How do you usually pick models to build? Well, combination of things. Sometimes I have people suggest them to me. I have had guys request that I build a model because they were planning on building one and they want to kind of follow along and see what kind of issues, because that kind of thing. So I have done that in the past, where I bought a model kit simply because somebody was planning on building one themselves and they requested it. The 1/32nd scale F4 Phantom, that particular build I did was as a direct request from a viewer. Other ones I've done because, you know, somebody's paid me. Like for example, the SR-71 Blackbird, I did that one and I got paid for that one. The B-2 bomber, the Tirpitz battleship, I paid for that one. Other ones, like for example the General Lee Dodge Charger that I recently did, that one was just because I wanted to have a General Lee in my collection. So it really kind of depends. I have a stack of kits, of model kits that I want to build eventually. They're kind of like, oh, these are my favorite ones that I wanted to do. A couple of them are like, yeah, I used to have this car, and so I want to build a model of it. This is looking like it's supposed to go in a certain orientation in this little tab. See this little tab here at the bottom of it? It's got a funny little shape to it. If the camera will focus on it, you can see that shape, how it's not just a rectangle. It's got one side of it is a little bit of an angle, and I'm trying to see on the inside. I can see that same angle there, but it's the wrong way around. Unless I have this upside down somehow. She ain't gonna go that way. It's just not gonna go that way. I want to have this in the same orientation. I enjoyed your PC monster truck. Oh, if I remember correctly, motor was too big. I hope that you record that vlog someday to show your collection. Yeah, I did get that thing built. I literally drove that thing once, and that's it. That's all I've driven it. So this, they just show going in like that, and that's it. And it doesn't quite line up right, so I don't know. It just doesn't look right to me. And this is supposed to go down onto this little tab here. Let's grab my tweezers here. So that's supposed to go here. This. Now it does fit perfectly in there, although a little bit tight. She does fit. It's even got a little bit of a notch in the plate there for that to fit, but she fits. So I'll glue that down there like that. And we'll call that one done. This is the one that's really bugging me. Like, this is just supposed to sit there and hang. without really fitting properly. It's a little hokey. I can do it and just kind of leave it. We'll just glue it down. Put some glue on there and line it up. Do I have it in the right way? Yes. Just going to want to hang it. You asked yesterday if at least we're going to have a TV. I think we're going to have a TV hanging from the ceiling. Switch to Warhammer. Yes. Funny enough, I actually do have a Warhammer tank that I plan on building at some point. It's funny that you mention that. Okay, so I need to kind of let that just sit and let the glue do its thing before I really try anything else with it. In the meantime, we can put our panel in on the other side. I'm going to paint this separate. I want to paint that before putting it in there. But I'll do that off camera. We're going to get our big piece here, the S14. Where's my S? Where did I put my S? S14, the big guy here. I think the APC is loaded with cameras for driver, right? There have to be some screens. Why not one for passengers? Yeah, exactly, right? Exactly. Why not? Gravity tried to tilt this on a funny angle, so I'm going to put it back. And we're just going to let that hang like that while I work on this one. I do like the fact that they're putting in big panels like this to hide our ejector pins. This guy's going to go in this direction and his pins are going to line up. Looks like this pin lines up with that hole there. Just like this. And covers a nice big section back there. There's no other pin, so what I want to do is clamp that down. Like this. Hold that down so that when I put some glue on there, it'll hold. And then utilizing our hole through the hole here, I'm actually going to get another clamp. Bingo. And hold that panel in. TV screen is still level. Good. Actually going to add a little more glue to the TV screen mount here, just to make sure. There we go. There we go. So I gotta let this dry a little bit. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So we got a couple of things. We've got a P6. Of course, those guys are all white and probably still. They're dry. They're dry. Dry enough anyway. Dry enough that I'll be able to put them on. But S3, I've gone and painted S3 green, and they want it black. I wonder what that is. It looks, I thought this was like the front end of a truck or some kind of a Jeep. You know, it looks like a headlights and a grill. You know, that's totally what I thought that was. I had no idea that's going to be like going in the overhead of, that's got to be the air conditioner. That's the air conditioner. This thing does have air conditioner. Air conditioners. There should be, I don't know if you ever heard of them, but there's a big YouTube channel from Canada, Mine War Gaming. I have not heard of them. Mine War Gaming. So there should be a lot of clients from painting 70 orcs. Yeah, I'm sure, right? Okay, I'm going to take this off of the sprue because it's got to be painted black. And that's got to be painted before installation. And that leaves, that is the last piece of our, off of our S tree. I have yet another, looks like a real fire extinguisher now. Actually has the nozzle on it. And yet they want it painted olive drab. Are you kidding me? An actual fire extinguisher and they want it painted olive drab. I want to call bullshit on that. My TV screen does not want to stay in the orientation it's supposed to. I can release this panel, and I want to set this up so it stays like that. Okay, let's hang my little clips back up here real quick. Mine War Gaming. I'm gonna have to check that out. Oh, Mini Wargaming. Okay. Mini Wargaming. This thing's going to be facing the roof, but for the most part, I don't think my nubs are going to be visible. This is going to sit right here. This. That's our air conditioning unit. Sits like that. But, like I said, I gotta paint that thing black. So we're not gonna be putting that in today. So that's gonna be painted black before assembly. P6 is already going in. We got another U5. Another U5 that's clear, which needs to go in later. U1 is going to be the same thing. All these U parts are clear, and I want to put those in like last practically. So I even show you painting part of them but leaving part of it clear because they're periscopes, right? So it's all that detail stuff that I need to do later. But this really bugs me, this fire extinguisher. They want it painted olive drab and black on the hose. The hose obviously black. Let me show you. That's P5. Let me show you my P. 2 fire extinguishers right there. And those are very obvious fire extinguishers, right? And yet they're not red. They want them painted olive drab, XF81. Which is an olive drab, olive green color. That really doesn't make sense to me. But if that's what it is, that's what it is, right? I mean, we had those other ones painted red. So, yeah. In other words, I got painting to do. We've got some other things, of course, need to be painted black. We got a P6 here, and we got decals to go in. So all of this stuff needs to be painted black. All of these parts are black. Or are they? Are they all black? P6 is, they want this P6 to be black. That's interesting. Is that correct? Yes. So this P6 should be black. P43, they don't call out a color at all. Same with M22, P47, there's no color. Yeah. So what they're showing, everything that's a dark color should be green. So P43 is a green, and then the lighter gray is silver. So we got a little piece of silver on this. And these are green. Okay, so most of these little parts are green, and P43 is green. So we can do this. Let's grab our P43. We'll get these last little bits put on that I don't have to paint, and then we'll call it a day, okay? So P47 and M22. P47 is this guy here. Let's see. It should be 3 colored, red, black, and metal. Yeah, you would think, right? Maybe anything red is a big no-no in the Army for visibility. Yeah, I'm really not sure. It's... You would think a normal fire extinguisher has the black nozzle on it with like chrome colored handle, and the canister itself is red. That's very typical for a fire extinguisher. But yeah, so M22 is going to go together on P47. So let's have a look here. Get these together. I am going to have to touch up the green on my little nub marks that I'm clearing away and stuff like that. So this guy looks like it goes like this, and this piece, no, goes like this, and this piece goes like that. So that's how he goes together. Is a weird little setup on this guy. But that's how it goes. Or does it go like this? No, definitely not. It goes like that. I just haven't got the mold done very nicely. We've got what looks like a parting mold. My phone is going crazy here for some reason. Probably that's the reason why I gotta get going here. So my wife is messaging me. Let's put this together. Okay. So that's P47 and M22, and they go on the front of the hull. So P43, let's get his nub cleaned up here. And on this edge. P43, he's going to go down right back here. He's going to go in just like that. Right beside this ugly ejector pin mark. Right beside the ugly ejector pin mark. That is almost impossible to get at with a knife. It is really hard to get at with a knife. So let's try a different method here. Let's try a chisel. I've yet to try one of these, but apparently they work pretty good. careful not to dig too much of an angle. So I am removing paint in spots. I don't want to remove it, but okay. Well, that got rid of it, and of course it looks like crap now, but we can touch that up with paint later. This guy is going to go right on this. Right in there. Just like so. And then this guy goes up front. Where do you go? You go into this little notch here. And it's going to go in like this. Okay, so one thing they've done is they've made it so that this kind of sits like that.
Moments later.
Alright, so where was I? This piece. The little notch that's on the edge of this is supposed to go into that little tab, or vice versa, the tab going into that notch. And when I do that, it kind of lines up with the outside here like this. But it's not, you really have to make sure that it's in your correct spot here. So let's do that. And get that pressed into its new home. There we go. And that's how that piece goes on. It's like that. The nerve of some people interrupting man in his man cave during the hobby time. Yeah, exactly, right? Wife wants to go to a cafe, so I'm gonna have to get going pretty quick here. Okay, other things that I don't have to paint is K26. The last two parts on this I don't have to paint. K26. Let's find our K tree. They're not green. K is not green. K, I believe, is gray. Yes. So they're not calling out any colors for K26 at all. In K28 they want painted, the arm is supposed to be silver. But yeah. So K26, two of them. These two here. They look like possibly they could maybe be the hydraulic shocks for the panel that's there. I'm going to take K28 off. K28 is this guy here. It looks like maybe some kind of a locking mechanism or something to that effect. So these two guys, yes, they go into this little slot here, this little notch. And they're going to sit in like this. Are they going to sit in there like this? Yes, like this. But they sit at a certain angle. There's a little bit of an angle to them. Like that. So they are gonna, leaving these in is actually gonna make that panel, unless the panel's really bulky. So of course they don't show them here in the next picture. So I want to see get to the point where we're actually putting this panel in. Before I commit to gluing these in here, I want to see what we're doing with that panel later on. Okay, so I want to see this section here. Let's get to the point where we're putting that in. Here it is. Great, it's actually a great big piece, D4. But D4 has a hole in it also. D4 just goes on the top, so it's not D4. There it is. It's this guy here, D5. That's the panel that goes in there and covers it. Let's go take a look. Let's grab our D. It's always fun to grab our D. Do you enjoy grabbing your D? I grab my D very often. What do you mean by that? I could mean a lot of things. I just grabbed my D right now. You guys just watched me grab my D. I enjoy grabbing my D on camera. And I know you guys enjoy watching me grab my D. Okay, all these ejector pins on here. Bing and bing and bing. Bing all the way around, and then yeah, we look good underneath. Okay. So here's another thing. So inside, this should be painted green also, so that our interior matches. All of our panels that cover everything really should have that green treatment to them on the inside. I mean, technically this whole tank is going to get a green treatment. I have decided that I'm not going to paint this thing in the sand color that you see so often. I'm going to go with what seems to be the more slightly rare camouflage version. Okay, so this guy is supposed to go in here and go down like that, but it looks like our hinges are like this. Let's go back to that page. At some point we're actually putting some hinge points on the top here, and then these guys go down on top of them right about there, something like this. But that's sticking up so far off of there that basically this thing would be sitting at a weird angle. It doesn't fit in that hole anyway. I mean, I could drop it in like this. It's possible. See, these do line up there. There and there. Just a second, I'm being bothered again.
1 hour later.
Okay. I grab my ID only when I pee. Yeah. Alright, so this does go in this spot, and those hinges do line up. So I think what happens is when this goes into that little spot, I need my tweezers. Where'd my tweezers go? When this goes into that little spot, like this, these just go in between like that and give you that illusion of a hydraulic shock. So I think it's okay to glue these in. It's a little bit of a tight fit. but we can just do that and get some glue on that. Put it in his new home, like so. Okay, like that. Put the other one in. Where'd it go? It's hiding. I just bumped my TV screen again. That is kind of the problem with trying to build everything so quickly. Okay, now I do want them at the same angle. There we go. Glue on both sides. There we go. So we got a little hydraulic shocks in there. And then last was our last little piece. Where did it go? It was K28, goes in the middle here. And he goes like this in that spot. So a little glue there, and just make sure he's straight, and that's where he goes. A little extra glue just because I moved him around. So that's those guys in there, okay, up at the front. And yes, it all looks kind of strange with this thing sticking up like that. I don't know. So obviously that's going to go into this spot. Maybe it's supposed to sit like this, or maybe that's supposed to sit open like this for the engine. They're not telling me, they're not giving me options. They're not saying it's an optional thing. Oh, wait a sec, it does right here. Assemble K26 and 28 if the engine compartment hatch is in open position. Yeah, well, thanks a lot. Thanks a fucking lot. Sorry. So that would be going like this. Engine compartment in the open position. But we're not doing that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave them there, but I'm going to trim them later so that I can close this up. Once these are all glued in and the glue is cured, of course I need to make sure my TV is good. Okay, that's where we're going to leave it for today. We're going to let this sit and let that glue dry. Now I got to be a little bit careful where I lay this down. Oh no, it's going to be fine. Okay, that is where we're going to leave it for today. This has been a little bit of a long video, especially with a couple of interruptions there. So I apologize for that. But we got to let this dry, let that cure. In fact, I could probably just set this down on my lower hull to see if my TV is going to interfere with anything. No, it looks good. Actually, it's not. It is interfering. The funny angle that it's kind of resting at is interfering with our bulkhead in there. So let's give it a little bit of a twist. See, because of its position, it's not letting it, it's hitting here. There. Here, I started off saying this is where we're going to end it today, and what am I doing? I'm playing around with this thing. because my TV's not sitting right. There. Okay. Now it's not binding on anything, and I can get it oriented straight. Alright. There we go. I'll change the camera back one last time. You can see on my TV panel right in there. Where are we? Right in here. Right there. That was kind of hitting our back bulkhead there and wasn't allowing me to close the hull. So I had to reposition my TV holder. And where's the PS5? The PS5, I haven't assembled it yet. The PS5 is in a sprue in the box there. Well, we're gonna have to wait, okay? So yeah, there we go. We're gonna leave that. We're gonna let that glue dry, let everything cure, and that's where we're gonna leave it for today. So, thanks again for the chat. It seems to be a daily thing now, eh? At least until I'm off of holidays and I gotta go back to work during the day. Then of course my schedule totally changes. Anyway, I want to thank you for watching and invite you to check out the description box below if you're watching on YouTube and see links to my other things like my Twitch channel and my X and my Instagram. I did upload a couple of pictures recently. Thanks, Jeff. We'll see you later. Jerry, that's it, not Jeff. I keep saying Jeff. I said Jeff last time. It's Jerry. Sorry. Yeah, I took a few pictures of the interior of this thing, and I did upload it on my Instagram and my X channel, so you can check those out if you feel like it, if you haven't seen them already. But that's what I do. After I finish a build, I take a bunch of pictures and I upload it to my Instagram especially, and so you can check out all my past builds and stuff like that if you feel like it. And please hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. I'd really appreciate it. And I guess that's going to be it for now, and we'll see you all on the next one.